So this is Hot Shirts. This is on page M2-86. This is a follow-up of the problem that we just did in the last set of notes. So Hot Shirts, notice this is the same idea, but this is a competitor's price. So notice they charge $49.95 for the startup fee or the design fee, and then they charge only $5.50 per shirt. So it's less per shirt, but it's more for the design fee. So rather than doing all of these again, we're just going to actually go straight down to the table, and I'm just going to place these numbers into our table so that we can hopefully not have as long of a video as last time. So I'm going to do one, notice I just drew an extra line here, put number of shirts, process, and total cost. So we have 1, 2, 3, then it went 10, 50, and then it has 100, so I'm just going to put 100 there. And then you'll pick whatever number you want. So let's go ahead and talk about our variables. So we have number of shirts, so let's use N, and then we have total cost, so we're going to use T again. All right, we're going to take that same idea from last time. We know, and I'm just, because I want to try to save some time, I'm going to actually say that it's $50. I'm changing the problem. Not that you guys can do this whenever you want, but I'm just going to change it so that it makes hopefully the video a little bit shorter. So we're going to have $50 design fee and $5 for each shirt. So we're going to take the same concept we did last time. So we're going to do $50 plus it's $5 per shirt. So $5 per shirt. So I just took what they talked about in this problem. There's a $50 fee plus it's $5 per shirt. So I'm just going to take that. Okay, well, what did we just say just now the number of shirts is? Well, we just said that's N. So just keep that in mind. N is the number of shirts. So let's go ahead and start writing this problem out. So we're going to do 50. Oops, I'm going to use black. And I'm going to actually run out of room, but that's okay. I'll write really small. So it's 50 plus, it's $5 per shirt, so 5 times 1, because it's one shirt. And notice that came from this right here. So one shirt. So get your calculator. Remember, you have to multiply first. So you have to do 5 times 1 is 5, plus 50 is 55. Okay, then we have to pay, so then we have to pay the $50 setup fee, and then we have to do $5 times, how many shirts are we doing in this one? Well, it's 2, so I'm going to do times 2. So you're going to do 5 times 2, 5 times 2 is 10, plus $50 setup fee, so their cost is $60. Man, that's a lot of money for 2 shirts. But, oh well, it's what they want to charge, I guess. Or they need to charge. So then it would be 50 plus 5 times 3. Again, now we're using 3 shirts. So 50, oops, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 50 is 65. Notice it's going up by 5 each time, which is how much we said the extra cost per shirt is. So now we're going to do 50 plus 5 times 10. 5 times 10 is 50, plus $50 is going to be $100. You could use a calculator if you needed to. I'm going to need to use a calculator on the next one. 50, so the setup fee plus $5 times, this time it's 50. Oops, that does not look like a 50. Times 50. So then it would be 50 times 5 plus 50 is 300. Okay, and then let's do 50 plus 5 times 100. So 50, 5 times 100 is 500, plus 50 would be 550. Okay, and I said use random, but I'm going to show you something here, how you can write an equation from this table. So if you have this table, what letter did we use to represent this number that's changing? Well, we used n, so I'm going to use n. If we look at this equation, the 50 was the same every time. The 5 was the same every time. Where did these numbers come from? Well, it was the number of shirts. What letter do we use to represent this thing that's changing? Well, we use n. So when something's changing, we use a variable. The thing that was changing was the number of shirts, and we used n. What did it give us over here? Well, it gave you the total. That's another thing that was changing, but it was giving you the answer or the total. So we've actually already written our equation here. So over here on number 5, we're going to go ahead and write our equation. So 50 plus 5 times n equals t, or 50 plus 5n equals t. Because we don't have to write the 5 times, because we know when a number and a variable are right next to each other, it's multiplication. Okay, so now we're going to graph this one. So again, number of shirts is the independent because the cost depends on shirts. So we're going to put number of shirts. We're going to put total cost. And so we're going to put T, and we're going to put N. We're actually only going to go to 50 on this one. We're not going to go to the full 100 just because I know what the next lesson is and I want them to look the same. So if we want to go to 50, we're going to have to go by probably 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Okay, then total cost, we need to get to 300. Let's look back at our one from the last lesson, and it only got, it got to exactly 300. So we're going to go by 20s again. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220, 240, 260, 280. I'm going to move that T over. 300. Okay, so now let's graph them. So we're just taking these points. So 1, so right over here is at 55. 2 is at 60. Oops, I put that too high. Right there at 50. 2 is at 60. 3 is at 65, so about in there. 10 is at 100. 50, so all the way over here, is at 300. So then you can draw a line through that, and that would be our line. Okay, what did this graph start at? Well, it started at 50. So remember, I'm writing the equation because you have to be able to recognize it either way. So if we have y equals mx plus b, what was the rate in this? The rate was, let me get a different color. The rate was $5 per shirt, so that's the rate. The 50 was the starting fee. So notice it would just be 50 would be the B, 5 would be the M, so our equation would be y equals 5x plus 50, but remember it actually wanted us to use the variables that they used. So in, it was 5 per shirt and gave us a total cost. So notice the only difference between these two, because again, sometimes, because they like to confuse students, sometimes they'll have it written like this, where it's the starting fee plus the $5 per shirt. Or it'll have it be written like this. Remember, the number with the variable is the rate, because it was $5 per shirt, which was in, plus 50. So really, it's the same work. It's just they wrote the 5 in first and then added the fee after. So don't let that confuse you, but that is how you can recognize, or that you need to be able to recognize the equation written either way.